Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and this is my final review of the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Before I begin, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, leave a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really do greatly appreciate anybody who's done that. So basically, I've had this phone for about a month now. So this review will be divided into a couple of categories. It will be divided into design, display, camera, performance, and I will kind of round it up in a final conclusion. So let's go ahead and get started. So the build quality, this phone is made entirely out of plastic, other than the display of course. However, that is to be expected for a phone that, listen, costs only $200, which is insane to see in 2023. So the back does have textured material that supposedly help with the grip, but not really. And the Samsung logo actually has texture to it, which is a nice look. As far as your I/O goes, you have a headphone jack, a microphone, your USB-C, which does support fast charging, as well as your bottom-facing speaker, and we will get to listen to the speaker later on in the video. As far as your buttons go, you have your power button slash fingerprint sensor, as well as your volume up and down. Here's what I have to say about these buttons. They're not the best quality. I feel like the Galaxy A13 5G from last year had better buttons and a much better tactile response overall. However, this is $70 cheaper than last year's Galaxy A13 5G. As far as the bag goes, we also have a triple camera setup, and we will definitely discuss the camera later on in this video. But basically, you have a 50 megapixel main sensor, you have a macro sensor, and a depth sensor. More on the camera later on in the video. Trust me, you don't want to miss the camera part. As far as overall though, it is kind of a thicker than the A13 5G, and it's heavier by weight. So that's also something to consider when purchasing this phone. Now here's what I have to say about the weight thing. So it is slightly taller than the Galaxy A13 5G, and it's slightly heavier. It was at times uncomfortable to hold. As far as the front goes, this is one of the best displays that you can get on the market for around $200 in 2023. Really gotta give a huge thumbs up to Samsung. So this is a 1080p display that is IPS, so it is an LCD panel, not an OLED display, and that's fine. You do get a lot of sharpness and detail when it comes to this display. It is vibrant. It's not as good as OLED, obviously, but listen, it's $200. Be quiet. Stop complaining. Okay, and you also get the ability to have a 90 hertz refresh rate, which is incredible to see on this type of device that only costs $200. This was not possible a couple of years ago, so really amazing to see Samsung pulling this off. Okay, and I do have to say that the display is a definite upgrade from last year's 720p panel that lacked resolution. Was it quality as far as, calibration and colors or like things like that? Yes. But this display on the Galaxy A14 5G just takes it to a different level. When you provide a much sharper display with the same quality as last year, but make the device overall cheaper, then you really won a lot of customers at this point. So definitely a really fun and one of the best characteristics when it comes to this phone is its display. So really incredible and very enjoyable when consuming media. And if you want to scroll up and down social media, you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever the case may be, definitely something to look forward to if you're interested in purchasing this device. Now for the speaker, here, listen to the speaker and I'll give you some words on it. The side does have the fingerprint sensor as well as the volume up and down. The bottom has your headphone jack, the fast charging USB-C port, and a microphone as well as a bottom facing speaker, which we will get to listen to in a little bit as well. So definitely a lot going for the design. So far so good. Now the display. So this has a really nice display for the price that you're paying for this phone. Okay, so the speaker is not the best thing to happen to this phone, but that's okay. It is kind of a letdown. It doesn't, while it kind of gets loud, but not as loud as I would like it to be, and it does distort and tint a lot at highest volume. So not the best quality speaker, but you also have the ability to connect your Bluetooth headset or even connect your headphone jack. Okay, so now for my favorite category, which is the camera. So the Galaxy A14 5G has a triple camera setup. It has a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 2 megapixel macro sensor, as well as a 2 megapixel depth sensor. And I did a full dedicated camera review separately. It will be linked in the description below, so if you want to check it out, it will give you a much more in-depth camera look. But here's what I have to say about this camera. So the Galaxy A14 5G does provide respectable shots when it comes to outdoor conditions. So the color may not be the most accurate out there, but they're definitely decent. Definitely something that if you are good at taking outdoor pictures, you will be able to post and even enjoy. And if you're good at editing your photos, then that's also a thumbs up. You'll make this camera work one way or the other. And the bokeh effect on there in the focus is really good, really nice, especially in a picture like this where it's hard to pull off. The dynamic range is not the best, but it's definitely, this phone definitely holds its own. Where you will see kind of a letdown camera is when it comes to indoor conditions. That's where the quality kind of takes a hit. It doesn't provide the best, it just provides a much worse picture. So sometimes can be underexposed, the shadows are not really that good, the white balance is off, and just a lot of things that can go wrong when it comes to indoor conditions. But that's all right. It still is a respectable camera. The selfie camera did also receive an upgrade from the Galaxy A13 5G. It's much sharper, much detailed. It does, however, tend to expose the background a lot. As far as the video quality goes, it's Mm, it's all right. I'm not gonna sit here and boast the video quality. I do have to tell you one thing that it does good in video quality, and that is the electronic image stabilization. It's fairly decent, and even when it comes to taking videos of close-up subjects where you want the background to be kind of blurred out, it does okay, but not the best video quality in a camera that I've seen. One of the things that I feel like that this camera is missing is a wide angle or an actual telephoto lens. I would personally prefer a wide angle, but we don't get that. Um, Even if they eliminated both cameras that this phone has and just added one additional camera instead of a triple setup, it could be a dual setup where the other camera is an actual wide angle lens. I think it would have took this phone's camera experience to the next level. You just don't get that this year. So maybe in the Galaxy A15 of next year. So now let's talk about the performance of this device. If you compare it to a phone that costs only $170, then you will see a huge performance in this device. You will see how much of a beast it is. But of course, if you compare it to something that is $400, $500, then you will be let down. So keep your expectations where they should be. As far as specs go, this phone does have a octa-core MediaTek Dimensity 700 chip. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM as well as 5000 milliamp hour battery and a 64 gigabytes of overall storage. Now, when it comes to battery life, this thing is a boss. It's a beast. It's incredible. I can't even give it enough compliments. The battery life on here is it's insane. It's better than it's actually higher than the Galaxy S23 and the S23 Plus that just recently launched. So that's just mind blowing to even say out loud. As far as raw performance goes, I did a Geekbench benchmark test, and here's the result that it gave me, and kind of a shocker. So you get a single core of 527 and a multi-core of 1697, which is a not huge, but a noticeable performance bump from the Galaxy A13 5G, and a comparison between the A13 and the A14 is in the works, so stay tuned for that. However, in my testing so far, the Galaxy A14 is the faster device. Now here's the kicker, they both use the same chipset, so how come the A14 is faster than the A13? Here's my theory. So this comes down to optimization. I feel like Android 13 is just that much better and that much more optimized for this device, and that's thanks to Google and Samsung together. So the performance did give us an increase, even though this phone has the same specs as its predecessor, the Galaxy A13 5G. So the performance is definitely a thumbs up. Like I said, keep your expectations where they should be. You're still gonna see a downgrade when it comes to a much more heavy demanding tasks, or even if you try to push this phone a lot, you're gonna see it slow down, and over time this phone is subject to a massive slowdown, a massive performance downgrade. But as of right now, a month into using, so far this phone gets a huge thumbs up in performance. Now let me give you guys a final conclusion to wrap it up. This is my favorite phone of the year. I know the year just started, but this is the best phone that you can buy for $200. It doesn't get any better than that. I would be surprised if it does. So for $200, you get a nice display, a huge battery life, um, not the best specs, but they work, and not the best camera, but it works. It takes respectable pictures. You get a 5G device that is, in my opinion, worth every penny of the $200 that are being spent on it. And of course, you can get this phone at much better pricing, believe it or not, if you sign up with certain carriers. I know Metro by T-Mobile and even T-Mobile themselves, or Boost Mobile or AT&T, they have all sorts of offers. So just check your carrier. If you can get a better deal, then that's even better. But for $200, you still cannot go wrong for this device. Okay, with that being said, tell me what you guys think. Do you feel like this phone is worth it? Do you feel like, hey, nah, I'm not messing with this phone? So keep it in the description below. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. A lot of great content is coming really soon, so don't miss out. Stay tuned, and thank you all so much for watching. I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Peace.